Sir, if I may venture an opinion.
I'm not really interested in your opinion, 3PO.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, so talking about coaches and the hot seat, and sometimes that hot seat happens almost as soon as you get there. Some people, we were talking about, coordinators, Auburn, when they lost to Penn State, you got, Brian Harsin in his office. People are wanting to get rid of Derek Mason and Mike Bobo. And these guys are like, I haven't even had a chance to set up my stuff in my office yet. And you want me
I don't even know all the players' names.
Right. And you want to get rid of me already? So it seems like we're always talking about this type of thing. Eli Drinkwitz legitimately on the hot seat in his second year. I mean, this is literally his second year. And we're thinking, I don't know if it's going to work out. And so it leads me to think that this is because of two factors, because you didn't used to see this kind of thing. Obviously, the first one we've talked about on this show, the Saban Effect, which I'm sure you're proud of. And and number two, the 24-hour sports news cycles. We got to have something to talk about, right? So it's kind of like, it's kind of funny. It's like as soon as obviously a team wins and we're like, oh man, what great play calling. That was amazing. But then like a team loses like a game. And we're like, I don't know. They might need to rethink their head coach. And we're like, whoa, wait, what? Just to kind of, pump the brakes here a little bit. I think people have to have something to nitpick, especially when we have these things where we got to fill every hour slot with something. And I know we talk about it too, so we're not, immune to it. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think, first of all, when the dreadful day comes when Saban retires, God, our fan base is going to be the worst. For whoever decides to accept that job, because God bless him, it's not going to be great. It's going to be so bad. Because Saban came in and in 2 years won a natty. That's not going to happen yet.
Bear Bryant himself could be, he could be reincarnated, and obviously nobody know, but he could go in and be like, hey guys, I used to be Bear Bryant. And they'd be like, I don't care. You're not Nick Saban. Get out of here.
Right.
So
Right. It's going to be insane. I'm not looking forward to that day, but you're right. The thing with Eli Drinkwitz that I think that is maybe pushing this a little more than you would see with a coach that's in his second year is Mizzou was not doing great. Right? Like they had, they have sanctions against them? I can't remember now.
They did. I think it was at the beginning of last year that was announced, or maybe it was the year before that. I can't remember.
Year before, maybe.
But I don't remember how long that was supposed to last. Yeah.
Yeah. Interim coach who have sanctions and all that. And they weren't great. I don't feel like they were this bad.
Right.
And
it's a pretty big drop off. Pretty fast.
It is a huge drop off. It is a huge drop off. And last year it was like, okay, they were all right. But then you come into this and it's just like, all right, you have the talent there. Some of it's not the talent that you recruited. A lot of it's not, but it's still talent and it's going down. Mm-hmm. And so you're not developing talent and you're not fostering talent. And so with that, there will come transfers.
Right.
Just undoubtedly there will be transfers, an unhappy fan base. And it makes recruiting hard. And so as an athletic director, you have to take that into account as like, listen, we have the talent or some talent, and now it's going downhill. So it's got to be a coaching thing. I think people, and, not to pick on Tennessee, but they've done this, where they don't give coaches a chance. They just start firing. But I think even Tennessee, you start to see in your players a little bit of development. And then once it drops off, then that's when they cut them. But, you at least start to see some development. Whereas with Drinkwitz, I don't think we've seen development.
Do you think it could also be because everything is so much more transparent nowadays too? Like back in the old days, whatever that means, but you know what I mean? It was more of like a black box type of thing. Like there's this process that's going on, but nobody really sees it. I mean, you got a few media members who might have access, who can see it, but you didn't have all these. You can post live feeds and you can post this. You can talk to people and you can get all these insights that you wouldn't have normally been able to get back in the day. And do you think it could be that?
I think it's that. I also think it's, kids just having the transfer options. I don't remember years ago there being that many transfers. You might have one or two decent players that transfer. I feel like we see it a lot more now. Kids are just like, can't have my spot here. Fine, I'll go somewhere else.
Right.
Or you're not working out for me here. I'll go somewhere else. And schools have to be really careful of that. And I think that feeds into their coaching decisions too, because if a coach isn't working out, isn't developing players, isn't winning ball games, then they need to make a decision, because they're going to lose players and they're going to lose good recruits. And that's what it all comes down to.
Right. Yeah. And, I get it. They're getting paid a lot of money, so they're going to be under a microscope. It makes sense, but it's wild how volatile it is.
Oh, it's not a job I would want. You just don't unpack your stuff.
And how public your life, your family's life, everybody is affected. I mean, you have no privacy. And can you imagine, I can't really wrap my mind around it, but just thinking about somebody in my family or whatever who is literally just destroyed by media members, by fans on a daily basis. And you just kind of have to sit there and take it, because what is saying something going to do, right? You're not going to change anybody's mind.
It fuels the fire.
Is to say, if anything, it makes it worse. So
I think you can't really do anything. I mean, we joked about Urban Meyer. Not that he needs to be doing that. He certainly does not need to be doing that. But anybody else who has a dad or whatever that's weird, you don't really see it, right? Like, you're not going to necessarily know about it. But like, he has daughters,
right?
Close to my age. And all of a sudden, they can't get on Instagram or, look at a news because they're creepy drunk dads on there trying to get with co-ed. Like, ooh.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Terrible.
It is a wild kind of thing to think about. But at the same time, like I said, I guess you're getting paid a lot. There's a lot of expectation, and that includes behavior.
You know what you're getting into. I mean, I think a lot of the older coaches, right? Like, this is definitely not the realm that they entered into when they first started. It certainly is now. But if you're a newer coach, you know what is about to be demanded of you, your family, whoever. It's not a joke, and you know that you're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, it's all part of it. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how things have changed, but